And greetings YouTube gamers, welcome to another episode of Retro Raider. My name is Johnny Retro and welcome to the channel. So today I have a clone system for you guys. This is the Retrogen, and what this does is that allows you guys to play Sega Genesis / Mega Drive games on the go. Now this system was released by retro.bit a couple of years ago. This system is 7 years old if I'm not mistaken, but I think it's still worth to check it out today. But this isn't technically a Sega Genesis Mega Drive clone. This is actually a clone of a console released by Sega in 1985 called the Sega Nomad. So the Sega Nomad allows you to play Sega Genesis games on the go, but you know, having one in 2017, it doesn't come without a couple of problems. So the number one issue is that, you know, it is an old system, so the screen is a little bit outdated. Although it's backlit, there are good chances that you find a couple of dead pixels on it. The second problem is the battery life. We're talking about a system that eats 6 AA batteries and it only runs for a couple of hours, I mean between 1.5 to 3 hours only. And although you can use an AC adapter, well, to me that really takes the portability side of it. There's also a good chance that you guys need to replace the capacitors, and the biggest problem of it all is the price. The Sega Nomad was an exclusive system in North America, and it was a very strange move by Sega because, you know, the Sega Mega Drive was very popular in Europe and Japan, so why did they make it exclusive for North America? You know, I'm a huge fan of Sega since the 90s, but what the f***? And although the Nomad is a very cool collectible item, we're talking about a handheld that costs about 200 euros in current market. And good chances are that you're only going to find one in America. But that's why we have clone systems like the Retrogen, so let's take a closer look right after this. Okay, so here's a closer look of the outside box. This is the front, this is the back, and it's actually, you know, a very solid box. I really like it. They put some effort into it. This is where the system was, and it came with two cables. The first one is actually a USB cable to recharge the system, and this one is actually a little surprise. This cable allows you guys to hook up your Retrogen to the television. On the bottom here you have the instructions. I strongly suggest you guys to read this if you pick up a unit for yourselves. And here is the system itself. It's very light, but you know, it doesn't look like it's cheap. It's actually pretty well built, I would say. You have a 2.8 backlit LCD screen, you know, pretty decent size, I can't complain about it. 6 buttons. Now this is actually very important to me. This is how I like to play Sega Genesis / Mega Drive, so huge plus. You have the start right here, you have the menu, decent D-pad, you know, it's okay. Mono sound. Now let me tell you, this is probably the worst part of it. The sound of this system, it's not very good. It really isn't. Here on the bottom you have your on and off. This is a little bit hard to reach. I mean, you kind of have to use your nail to press it, but you know, it's okay. This one is for your region lock, so you have to switch this between PAL and NTSC. And this one is a mini USB for recharge your system. Now, nothing really special on the back, and this is the cartridge slot. It has a lid, that's always smart, I guess. And I want to show you guys something. Now, I want to say this. A lot of clone systems have what I like to call, unfortunately, the death grip, which is the fact that when you plug your cartridge, it offers a lot of resistance, and that's not good for your cards. But let's see, how's the death grip on the Retrogen? Okay, so when you plug in, it's actually not that bad. You know, it plugs very easily. And to take it off, that's where you really need to force a little bit, but you know, it's not that bad. And you have to take into account that I'm behind the camera, so I'm just looking through the screen of the camera, and that makes my life a little bit harder, but you know, it's not terribly bad, but you know, just be a little bit careful when you pick up these kind of units. Now it's time for a little test. We're going to try it out. Classic Collection, one of my favorite compilations by Sega. See, like I told you, it's a little bit annoying to turn it on, but it's not that bad. Yeah, and the light. Okay, so the light is not helping me, but I really hope that you guys can see it. See the sound? Can you hear the sound? I mean, yeah, the sound is really the downside of it. I mean, just use headphones or turn off the sound while playing this. This is where you plug the headphones. Gunstar Heroes, one of the best Sega games. Yeah, the controls are very good. I really can't complain about the controls. And if you do pick one of these, I mean, when you first press the D-pad, it seems like it's very cheap, but it actually plays very good. Okay, let's go for a Genesis game right here. So you just have to press the lockout button on the system, and here we go. Very cool beat 'em up on the Genesis. I do love my beat 'em ups. I just love side-scrolling beat 'em ups. I want to try to give you guys a closer look of the screen. Well, actually the sound is better on this game, but it still sucks. Now for the last game, Super Monaco 2, this is a Japanese cart. Oh boy, Ayrton Senna. This guy was actually one of my mother's idols, the king of the road for me, so may he rest in peace. And here we go. Yeah, I suck at racing games. But yeah, it works perfectly, all of the carts. Now, I still want to say a couple of things. When it comes to clone systems, please keep your cartridges as clean as possible, because sometimes they don't work that well, and you're just filling your system with a lot of dust. So always take care of your cartridges. Now, for the last game, I have Comic Zone, one of my personal favorites. I just love this game. But let's see how this baby works on the TV. Okay, so let's give it a shot to Comic Zone on the Retrogen connected to the TV. This is where you plug your AV cable, go straight into the TV. Again, mono, that sucks, but let's see how it works.
Sega!
Okay, so you can pretty much control everything from the handheld. You can control the volume right in here. And the audio really doesn't improve when you connect it to the TV. And but another cool thing is that the screen turns off when it's plugged to the television. So that's a huge plus. Other clone systems don't do that. So very happy with this. I love Comic Zone. I mean, this is not only one of my favorite Sega Mega Drive games of all time, but it's also one of my favorite beat 'em ups of all time. I also want to say one thing. I mean, if I was watching this screen or this gameplay without knowing that it was a clone system, I could say that this is a Mega Drive console. It really doesn't look like emulation, and I mean, I think that you don't have the emulation factor on this because it is running the actual cards on the hardware, so I don't think that the ROMs are being dumped like the Retron 5, for example. Okay, so just let me pause here for a second. I forgot to mention the battery life of this. We're looking about 8 to 10 hours of gameplay. You know, for a handheld, I really can't complain about it. So, do I recommend the Retrogen? You know, if you find one for the right price, and if you like Sega, if you like to play handheld games, you know, totally go for one. So I still want to say a couple of things before I wrap up this video. You know, this system is actually a little bit hard to get because, you know, it was not very successful. And to be honest with you, there are a couple of other options out there in the market. There are other companies that are doing similar products like this one. But if you do find one of these, please don't overpay for it. I've seen a couple of sellers on eBay where, you know, they're asking about 100 euros for this. And they even put out on the description, rare limited item. Let me tell you one thing. Clone systems are not collectibles. So I do have a very important message for all the scam resellers out there. You can go or not. So again guys, please don't overpay this system. This is not a collectible. And like I said, you do have other options out there. So keep your eyes open. So anyway guys, I really hope that you've enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comment section below what do you think about these clone systems and what do you think about the Sega Nomad if you have one. Also, don't forget to put a like on this video, please subscribe to the channel, and take care of yourselves, take care of the gaming community, and game a lot.